Hey guys, welcome back to Releasethecraftin. Priscilla here with a different sort of video for you guys today. This is a craft with me video. Haven't done one of those in a while, so glad to get back into it. But it is a craft with me craft video because we're going a little witchy with our crafts today. I am in a private little group and we have a witchy candle, altered candle swap coming up. The theme for the swap is going to be the summer solstice. So I thought it would be fun to share my process and you guys could see how I decorate and alter up my candles. I already saved you the trouble by peeling the label off of this candle and fussy cutting everything I was going to use. And, well, maybe not everything I'm going to use. Just the stuff I think I'm going to use. And so I thought it would be fun to share the process with you guys. Decorating candles is probably one of my favorite things to do. I feel like it puts a lot of really good intention into what you're doing. And it also kind of gives you a clear focus. Plus, it's something you get to, like, admire and, you know, kind of continuously renews the energy that you're putting into it when you get to see it over and over again. And then I slap the camera because I'm a professional. Consummate professional. And now we wait 12 years for it to go back and focus. There we go. So what I have here is just a regular 7-day novena candle, not a camel. Those are distinctly different. And some images I found off of Pinterest. I am not in the business of marketing these, so I'm not really too worried about anything like that. I just thought it would be fun to take some fun, like, summer type images and slap them on here. So, when I usually make these for myself, I am a dingle hopper about it, and I put everything down on the candle and then craft as I go on this round surface, which, flat image, round surface, a little tricky. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to do it as a older, wiser Priscilla has decided on the flat part, and then stick it down onto the candle, just so it's a little bit easier to show you guys what I'm doing, but also easier for me to do. I'm just going to use some regular old matte Mod Podge. I got this at the Dollar Tree. It's actually cheaper to buy the 2 ounces for $1 as opposed to 8 ounces for $7. Because you only have to spend $4. So I have a ton of this stuff, so I'm actually trying to use it up so that I don't go back and buy more stuff from the Dollar Tree. But, just a little fun math hint for you guys if you're super in the market for some Mod Podge. So, what I have is some cat hair that just mystically shows up onto things, even though I'm pretty sure nobody was up here before I started filming. Just this little quote, which I may or may not use, haven't decided. I thought it was fun. And then I have some chamomile flowers, some ranunculus, and some peonies. I did all the fussy cutting, like I said, off screen so that it would be a little bit more expedient. I have the sun and this really beautiful image that is going to elicit some of that solar energy imagery that I'm trying to go for. And I have kind of a basic idea of how I want it. I have this really pretty, like, summer daisy picture, which I used an edge punch on just to add some visual interest. And so what I think I will do, let's get some Mod Podge down, just so that I can just start gluing it. I don't want to overthink it, because if I overthink it, we'll be here for 12 hours. And get a paintbrush. I think this one will work. It's going to be small enough for all my little detail things. I actually found a little round brush, which will work better for these little things. So what I kind of want to do is beef up my background a little bit with these chamomile, I think, and then I'll put maybe like a couple in the foreground. I don't have to worry about being super neat, because I am going to go over and do some stuff to finish it off and polish it up, so it looks a little bit more like maybe a professional type person was involved. But, I don't know, if you guys ever decorate candles, do you do it like this? I started doing this a little bit ago. I follow Molly Roberts, and I will link her down below. She's really inspiring. She does a bunch of like art witchy type stuff, and I started doing this after I saw her Pop Pantheon video, and just got really inspired to do that. And then I've been decorating my candles for like everything this way ever since, because you know, I think it's more than just like the sum of the stuff you put in. I think it also your intentions and, you know, the things that are behind it come into play. And the more that you can add on to that, you know, the stronger effect you'll get. So I want to put this sun behind her head, kind of like a halo or like a type of crown. And I added some of the, like I left in some of the little solar flary bits, just for some more visual interest, because I think it's more interesting than like a perfect circle. But I don't know how I want to position it. So I think maybe like that. And then maybe I'll like tuck in some of these flowers at the front. Maybe if I'm like really savvy, I'll be able to tuck some behind her a little bit, like in this little niche. And I'm probably mumbling because I just realized that I am mumbling. So I'll try to be a little bit louder. Sorry about that. But I think that's what I'm going to go for generally, and then I'll tuck in a couple of these in the front. I may wait till I stick it down to decide where those little final pieces are going to go. But then I want to mark this so that I know where to stick it down. And this is one of those moments where I'm going to be like, oh, you could have got a bigger brush, you silly, but I didn't, so. Painstaking processes aside. Make sure that gets stuck down really nice and well. And I got a little bit of Mod Podge here because I didn't wipe it up when I got done. I'm not too worried. Because like I said, I am going to go back over and do some finishing touches, so that will either pick up or get covered. And I'm not too concerned about that. And then I'll stick her down. And I'm still not going to grab a larger brush, no matter how much it bugs me to use this little tiny brush. So the summer solstice is like a big solar holiday. It has a lot to do with the longest day of the year and the transition from bright sunny days into days that are going to get progressively darker after this. So it's kind of like the final hurrah, sort of, for the summer sunshine and things like that, because the days start to get darker and longer, or the nights get longer as you move through the second half of the year. And so it's like a big fun festival because the day is so long. Once it bleeds into the night, they say that the veil between worlds gets thinner, and there's more of a chance of encountering the fae as you go along. So if you're into fairies or fairy magic, that's kind of where that pops up. I might stick this down first. Put some of those layering techniques into effect. I think the trick with this kind of stuff is to just not be too precious, because more importantly is your intent behind it, as opposed to like the perfected, finished looking product. Let's do this one first. So yeah, you definitely don't want to be too precious, because then you'll be here like all day. And I know like it kind of depends on what work you're doing. If you're just going for aesthetics, or if you're doing something really deep, maybe you want to put some more thought and time into it. But just try to avoid spending all day thinking about where to put things, because, I mean, it doesn't matter if you never do it, right? And so I chose ranunculus and peony and stuff like that, because those are kind of the flowers I associate with summer. You start to see them pop up more in summer. They get into full bloom. And then they're also just some of my favorite flowers. So I thought that was fun, and I wanted some bright pops of color. I really love yellow, so I thought it would be fun to use a lot of yellow. And then chamomile is a flower that also comes into season at this time, and it's one of the flowers directly associated with the holiday. Maybe we'll slide that little guy in. Alright, so like that. And then there's a little sticky line here from the label, so we'll cover that up. And I'm not too worried about like where everything will go. I will glue this down flat and then just trim off whatever hangs over. But that'll give us kind of an idea. And I may just stick this on like this part. I think I'm going to do that. And I kind of want to use this one too. Maybe I'll tuck it in up top. I'll figure it out. Oh. A little more glue down just to get this label on. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because it's going to take a little bit to let it all dry, is glue this to this, and then I will be back. Okay, so I got my image totally glued down, and for those of you who were wondering, yes, I used the teeny tiny paintbrush to glue this entire thing down because too lazy to get a bigger paintbrush. So I wasn't able to fit this image onto here. I thought about like just sticking it on the back, but then I was like, there's no intention behind that other than you don't want to waste this picture you cut out. So what I'm going to do is use this in the packaging. It's not going to go to waste or anything because, yeah, I didn't sit there and fussy cut that for nothing. But we're on to the next steps. So I have a couple of ideas on things I want to do. The first thing I want to do is turn this into a fire hazard by adding this trim. This gold leaf trim, like around the top. So I don't recommend you do this at home, but if you do it, it's not my fault if your trim catches fire. But I'm going to do it because I think it's going to look great. And I'm pretty sure that the person who's going to get this is going to be aware that they need to watch their candle. So I'm just going to go around the top with some Fabri-Tac. And then stick on this trim. I want to make sure that I get the end part, like starting in the back, so that I don't have like a weird spot in the front of my image. And then I'm just going to like pull this in here, keep it taut. I'm not going to worry too much about any little like glue globs that are going to pop up because I can wipe those off before I am done. And come right back to the end and grab some scissors, which I did not have ready. And snip that right off. I'm just going to go back over to make sure that everything does totally stick down. And also, I'm getting a new little wipe because I have glue all in my fingers. So yeah, hopefully my head wasn't in frame for that whole shot because I was really close to this candle. Stick Taking that down. Looks like the little tab piece needs a little tiny smooch of glue. So, I'm gonna go ahead and stick that in there. And just realized that I was probably mumbling again, so sorry about that, you guys. So I like how that comes out. It's a really pretty little pop of gold on there to go with the whole solar theme. So I'm going to set this aside. And then what I have is some of this Cosmic Shimmer glue and some Cosmic Shimmer gilding flakes in the color Egyptian Gold. And what I'm going to do is paint this onto the bottom. I'm going to do the whole bottom of my candle, let it dry, and then just make it super shiny, which is going to be really fun. I'm not going to be neat with this. I am going to try to avoid painting over the text. But I'm just going to add like random little brush strokes here. Because it's a round brush, I should get like a rounded tip to this. So I should have like that flower petal effect. I got way too much on this brush. Just try to knock off some of the excess so that it dries kind of evenly. Use it to glue that little stem piece down that I didn't get. And this stuff dries pretty quickly, so we won't be here forever. Especially not since we went and knocked all that excess off. And if you see a spot where you want it to go up a little higher, super easy to add back in. So we're going to do that on the bottom. And I was kind of tempted to do it across the top too, but then I saw this in my stash and decided that was better. I may just like tap in a couple places to add some little sparkly bits. It is something you have to kind of be careful about. I don't have like a laser jet printer, so it's all inkjet. So the more you like paint over these images, if you're using a inkjet printer, I don't know why that was so hard to say, is that you're gonna start picking up ink the more you like mess with stuff. So I got a little bit of paint, probably from those pink flowers. Not too worried about it. I'm gonna scoop up what's left of this glue back into the bottle, because waste not, want not. And get the brush into the water. So clean this up. We should be pretty much ready to go. There's a couple spots that aren't totally dry yet. I'm gonna tap those with my heat gun real quick, and then we'll gild these up. Okay, so that's dry. It's mostly clear now. You want to wait till that like the opacity, I guess, dries down a little bit before you start. The important thing to note too is that it's going to stay tacky. The Cosmic Shimmer one is. If you're using the Tombow mono adhesive, if you hit it with your heat gun long enough, it's going to totally dry down flat and it won't be tacky anymore. So just something to keep in mind. This stuff is really messy, so that's why I've got this little piece of paper down here. And I'm just going to like grab myself a little chunk and just sort of rub it across the bottom here and let whatever catch. like whatever catches catch. They're not too worried about it being perfect yet. And come back and finish it off a little bit if I miss a spot. The important thing is to just get like a nice solid layer down. And then we'll go back to the spots that I tapped on and just load those up as well. I think those are all the spots I hit. I'm just going over with my finger to see if I missed something, if I feel anything tacky. And then also to knock off some of the bigger pieces of excess. And so when I'm pretty sure I got everything stuck down, I'm going to clear this out and try not to scatter it to the four corners, because it only takes a little tiny breeze. You can't like have the ceiling fan on and use this stuff at the same time, unless you're trying to gild your whole craft space. Maybe I can save that one. Yeah, because it doesn't want to go in the jar. As you can see, my fingers were still tacky from that glue, so I have gilded myself. I'll wipe this up a little bit. And I'm going to bring that paper back. And I have this old like sponge brush that I use just exclusively for this, and I'm just gonna go and give it like a buff, and that'll knock off like all the little flaky pieces. It'll bring up the detail of the brushing we did, and it also kind of like shines it up a bit. Not that it's not already like excessively shiny, but it gets shinier. And make sure I hit the bottom because I drug it down to the bottom part. And we'll just go over our little bits and knock off any excess. Ew, and there's like a little piece where the glue kind of ripped off. So I'm just going to reapply. And then knock some more stuff down as I do so. Just smudge in a little glue there, and I'll wipe my fingers off while I let that dry a little bit. And get that little tub back. Like I said, that dries down pretty quick. Can't even see it. Just take a little piece of foil. Tap that in there. It's a pretty like copper color. There we go. For like a second it wasn't going to stick there. Oh, but now it's stuck to my fingers again. Ah, that's what happens when you use your fingers to apply the glue. I can unsticky my fingers. A little more luck and I might not tear off that paper again. There we go. So that's pretty, and then I'm just gonna brush off any of those little extra shimmer flakes. And sometimes occasionally you'll go through this and you'll feel like it's still a little tacky. You can always reapply like a second layer to see if you catch whatever you might have missed the first time around, which I think I'm going to do, and then I will pop back on, and then we'll do the last thing to this, and we will be done. Okay, so we have successfully gilded our candle, and I'm really happy with how all the foil catches the light. Like this shape on the bottom, it totally reminds me of like flower petals. So just kind of adding more to that solar, sunshine, sunflower type of aesthetic, which is really great. So the last thing I'm going to do is use some of this Prima Alchemy Wax in Vintage Gold. And just get a little tiny bit on my fingers. I don't want to get too crazy, but I'm just going to go around the edges. And this will like add some shine and sparkle. Of course, like it doesn't need a lot more shine and sparkle. It is very shiny and sparkly, but it'll also like tie the whole image together. But I just want to be really light with it and pick out some of those edge details. Let me hit these flowers a little bit. Come right here. And I like to do this to most of these like collage type of candles I do, just because like I said, it kind of ties the whole image together. But then I think it also kind of makes like the whole working like one. It has one element that kind of links them all. So I like to make sure I hit every single piece. And then it'll pick up the light and shine there, which is kind of hard to see because it looks pretty dull. But maybe you guys can see where it picks up. And then if I get it on the glass, I can just wipe it off. Alright, so that's it for me for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you'd like to see more types of crafts like these, let me know in the comments below. And I will share some more of the kind of stuff that I do in my practice. And maybe you guys can give me some ideas of some stuff you'd like to see. Because there's lots of things I like to do. I like to get really like hands-on and artsy with the things that I do, like a lot of the workings I do. So maybe you guys might enjoy seeing more of that stuff. Let me know down below. I'm going to go dress this and then pack it up so I can ship it off. And hopefully my partner likes it. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Happy crafting. Bye!